Right then, fish cakes today, and it is going to be a piece of salmon, some baked potatoes. Now these baked potatoes, they're still warm and they're still quite hot, but they're baked. I'm just going to scoop out the mashed bit from them. But to start, half an onion. Again, this is one of those really simple things. It's a nice thing to, but it makes a piece of salmon go quite a long way. So half an onion into a pan, start sweating that down. I quite like the fish cakes, loads of flavour. Put chilli in it. I've got garlic, but I'm going to use 3 cloves of garlic here, okay? Crushed and then sliced into the onions, the chilli. Now I quite like it nice and spicy. I'm looking at this going, oh yeah, I'm going to use all of it. And whilst that's sweating down, just going to open up these potatoes. Now I'm going to cut them in half, okay? And I'm going to scoop out the cooked potato, but I'm going to keep the skins, alright? Because we could use them for something later. Potatoes come out, I'm going to break it down, mash it all together with a fork, crush it up. And into that seasoning, some cracked black pepper, good pinch of salt, leave it to cool just a little bit. And here, I've got an open tin of green peppercorns. A few of them are going to go in, not too much though. And on top of that, I'm going to grate in a little bit of lemon zest, alright? I'm going to use the juice for something in a minute, using a vegetable that probably a lot of you have bought before, but don't really use it or know how to use it. Bought it once and never bought it again. Fennel, alright? We're going to slice it very thinly and we're going to make a nice fennel salad with it. The onion, the chilli, the garlic goes into the mix. And I have here the salmon, okay? So it's a big fillet of salmon. Just going to take the skin off and then the raw fillet like that. I'm just going to dice it up. We're going to put it into this mix, okay? Got all those flavours there. You've got the chilli, the garlic, you've got a bit of lemon, you've got the peppercorns, the breadcrumbs we're going to coat it with. Now these are Japanese breadcrumbs. They're called panko breadcrumbs and you can buy them very easy at the supermarket. And these are them here, okay? But to go with these breadcrumbs, Chris Mackett, my amazing genius development chef, has come up with a brilliant idea. Thinking of them as kind of like, well, what do you like with fish and chips? Well, you like salt and vinegar. Salt and vinegar crisps. So I'm going to bash them up, break it up as much as possible, and then add them to the breadcrumb mix. And this is going to give that little salt and vinegary kick, but it's also texture-wise, it's big, it's chunky, it's crunchy, okay? And then mix the salmon and the potato together. And into that, just to help it bind, I'm going to put a little bit of bicarbonate soda, but just a tiny touch, okay? Right then, some of these plastic gloves that I'm sure we've all got now. Everybody, chefs and tattoo artists have been using these forever, and everyone in the NHS definitely been using them. But now lots of people at home have got them. So just put your hands into the mix it about. I'm going to make 4 good sized fish cakes, alright? Roll them into balls first, all about the same size. You can see that piece of fish, I mean, it wasn't massive, it's gone a long way here, okay? And then squash them down, and we're going to leave them in the fridge to set for about 15-20 minutes. Right, after about 15 to 20 minutes, dust and a little bit of flour, then some beaten egg, and then into our breadcrumb mix with salt and vinegar hula hoops in it. Coat it all over and just keep them nice and shapely. Stick them back on the plate. Okay, they've been sat in the fridge, breadcrumbed, back in the fridge for about 15-20 minutes. They're set up quite nicely. Splash of oil goes into a non-stick pan. Then, good knob of butter, okay? We're just going to wait till it start foaming. Whilst they're cooking, the fennel. So I'm going to use about half a head of fennel, okay? We'll save the other half. I'm going to chop the fennel quite chunky, not too fine, okay? Into a bowl. And I'm just going to salt it for five or so minutes, okay? And that salt will just soften it. Okay, so just as that butter's foaming, these fish cakes, just going to drop them into the pan. Now, one of the skills of this, I think, is not doing them too quickly. You just want to cook them fairly gently, alright? There's going to be that balance between it being hot enough, okay, so that it fries and goes crispy, but not fried too fast. Okay, fennel. Soften just a little bit, just give it a quick wash off. There'll still be a little bit of water in the bowl, but that is absolutely fine. Oh, it smells lush. Flip them over. We'll keep turning them backwards and forwards, and we can keep adding little knobs of butter. Into the fennel, some capers. Got some amazing pickled cucumbers. These things are they're like my favourite thing. I could eat a jar of these just on their own. I'm going to chop these up as well. Just keep an eye on that temperature, right? You don't want it to go, and you can drop the temperature, but just keep adding a bit more butter. And once they're getting crispy on the top and bottom, put them on the sides. So crisping them up all the way around, okay? You've got the fennel, the capers, the cucumber, mayonnaise. If you wanted to, grated hard-boiled egg would be lovely into this. And then once you've got a good bit of colour on these fish cakes, I'm just going to stick them in the oven for about 5 minutes, okay? The oven's on 185 degrees centigrade. And whilst they're in there, I'm just going to finish mixing this kind of like chunky, coleslaw-y, tartar saucy, fennel-y salad thing. Again, good pinch of salt, good pinch of cracked black pepper, fresh herbs. I'm going for a little bit of time. Stir around, wait for me fish cakes to cook, and you'll be ready. Okay, fish cakes out of the oven. Just drain them on a little bit of kitchen roll, and a lovely bit of this crisp, crunchy, kind of like fennel salad, like fish cake on the top. Very simple, really easy, lovely bit of tea.